Today on Rappler. President Marcos says the Philippines will be dragged kicking and screaming into the war over Taiwan. Two Chinese ships collide in an apparent attempt to harass Philippine ships near Scarborough Shoal. President Marcos names top 15 flood contractors, some with links to Zaldico and Sara Diskaya. Israel kills an Al Jazeera journalist claiming he was a Hamas cell leader. And Kris Aquino will live in preventive isolation for 6 months. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. doubles down on the Philippines' need to prepare should a war break out over Taiwan. This as he hits back at China for accusing him of playing fire on issues bearing on China's core interests.
I don't know what they're talking about. Playing with fire? I was just stating facts. We do not want to go to war. But I think if there is a war over Taiwan, we will be drawn. Hihilain tayo sa aya't gusto natin. Kicking and screaming. We will be drawn and dragged into that mess.
Marcos has long made public his stance that the Philippines would not be able to stay out of the conflict should a war break out between China and Taiwan, citing the migrant Filipino population in Taiwan and its proximity to the Philippines' northernmost provinces. A week ago, during his state visit to India, Marcos said, if there is an all-out war, then the Philippines will be drawn to it. Beijing then accused Manila of going back on its words, fudging and hollowing out on the One China principle and harming the China-Philippines relations. Marcos says on Monday that planning for contingencies in Taiwan is just planning.
Come on, wag na tayong hope. I love this saying, hope is not a plan. How do we get our people out? How do we protect kung magkagulo, gera na nga dito. Malapit na sa atin. Anong gagawin natin?
Manila has not changed its One China policy. In an apparent attempt to harass Philippine ships and chase them away from Scarborough Shoal, two Chinese ships collided with each other on Monday, August 11. Philippine Coast Guard videos show China Coast Guard vessel 3104 sailing towards the PCG's BRP Suluan before it collided with the People's Liberation Army Navy ship 164. The incident occurred some 10.5 nautical miles east of Scarborough Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc. The PCG says the CCG vessel was chasing the BRP Suluan at high speed when it performed a risky maneuver leading to the impact to the PLA Navy warship.
Hindi yata nila na miscalculate nila na tatakbo ng mabilis yung BRP Suluan. So while the BRP Suluan increased her speed, moving further away that fast, ang China Coast Guard 3104 also increased her speed. And etong si PLA Navy, kung mabilis yung liko niya at mabilis din yung takbo ng China Coast Guard, it was very difficult for them to make it stop already. That's why the collision happened.
The PCG says the impact resulted in substantial damage to the CCG vessel's forecastle, rendering it unseaworthy. Tariela said the Philippines offered support, including medical assistance to the CCG vessel, but received no response. The China Coast Guard routinely uses dangerous maneuvers against Philippine vessels in the West Philippine Sea to disrupt Manila's missions. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says he was, quote, not accusing anyone of anything yet, but the initial findings of the flood control projects ordered during his fourth State of the Nation address gave an idea how these have been conducted. From July 2022 to May 2025, the Marcos administration carried out 9,885 flood control projects worth a total of 5.45.64 billion pesos. The Department of Public Works and Highways says of this amount, 100 million or around 20% went to 15 contractors. SunWest, ranked 8th on the list, is a business group based in Albay and co-founded by Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico. Rappler's research published in March showed that from 2016 to 2024, the company secured 38 billion pesos in projects, 28 billion pesos for roads and bridges, and 7 billion for flood control. Rappler reached out to COSCAM for comment. SunWest told Rappler in March, quote, the loans from SunWest Inc. to other companies are regular and arm's-length transactions that have nothing to do with the personal finances of a shareholder. Meantime, an election watchdog coalition Right to Know Right Now or R2KRN investigative report shows Sara Discayo was the president as of 2023 of Alpha and Omega General Contractor and Development Corporation. Securities and Exchange Commission documents also list Discayo as a co-founder of St. Timothy Construction, but she said in April that she sold her shares in 2018. The two companies rank second and third on the list. Kris Aquino will be living in preventive isolation for 6 months at her family compound in Tarlac. Aquino says in an Instagram post that a growing number of her autoimmune diseases prompted her to make the brave choice. The actress shares that she will soon undergo a 6 to 8 hour infusion of a powerful immunosuppressant, which she says will totally wipe out her immunity. This on top of her current daily and injectable treatments. She adds, quote, "Trust me, it's difficult to accept every night when I sleep that there may be no tomorrow for me." For nearly 2 months, 54-year-old Kris Aquino had been staying at a private beach property owned by a kind and generous family supporting her recovery. She also shares that her eldest son Josh, traumatized by her condition, is now living with her cousin, while her younger son Bimby remains with her. Aquino has been battling her autoimmune illnesses since 2018. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.